You're watching the Kop TV, the voice of football's most famous stand.
Salah to settle it in front of the Kop.
What was that? What was that? And I don't think the title is an exaggeration. I do think the fans who travelled tonight, the good 800 of them, deserve to be refunded, because that was an abomination of a performance from Liverpool. Big up to every single person that's here from the Redmond Army. Great to have you here. Obviously, like the video. I know it's hard to be positive right now, but do help the channel if you can and like the video. I mean, the texts are flying in, all the abusive ones from all my mates. I just can't believe it. I can't believe that we've lost that game 4-1. It's one of those games where from minute one, we weren't at it. You could tell straight away in the first minute, we weren't up for it at all. And we were lucky to not lose this game 7-1, which sounds ridiculous, really, when you think about it. But genuinely, we could have lost this 7-1 tonight. Wow. I'm not this kind of person to lose my head and start saying things that I regret or saying things that I don't actually mean. But, I mean, there's not many good words to describe what we've all just seen there tonight. Totally embarrassing. Napoli totally deserved to win. And again, we're lucky that this wasn't 7-1. I'm not exaggerating when I say that. We should have lost that 7-1. It is embarrassing. Let's get into some comments. There's so many to get through. And guys, remember, if you want to support the channel and get your comment read out at the top of the pile before anyone else, then do send in a super chat if you can. If not, I'm going to try and do my best to get through all the comments. But obviously, I can't read all of them. But at the same time, if you definitely want your comment to be read out, then do send in a super chat if you can support. Big up to everyone who's joined us from the Redmond Army. It really is an army. Look, as soon as James comes back to YouTube and uploads consistently, this is what you get. The Redmond Army all over the gaff. Thank you so much for joining us. James will be here shortly. I'm also going to bring in Tammy shortly after this little rant that I have. Jay saying we're done for the season if we don't change strategy, starting with the 4-3-3 formation. I agree. Maybe not with the first part. We're not done for the season. We're still in all the trophies. It's probably, if you're going to lose a Champions League match, lose your first one. And then obviously you've got 5 games to rectify that. But we could have been the first team, English team tonight to win 7 group games in a row. Obviously it didn't happen. But I do agree with the second part of this. I do think we could possibly change the formation if we look at maybe a 4-2-3-1 instead of a 4-3-3. We're just becoming so predictable, and that's without even mentioning the lack of fight, desire, energy. I mean, the amount of players that I saw walking tonight is simply unacceptable. And I will say names: Trent, Virgil van Dijk, Mo Salah, 3 horrific performances tonight. And that's not even mentioning Joe Gomez, who got taken off at half-time. But the big players in our group need to have a strong sit-down with themselves and start, because that is an absolute joke what we've seen tonight from our big players, the players that we've given the big contracts to, the big wages to. The only 3 players that I can maybe pick out tonight that actually can walk away from the stadium with their head held high are Alisson for saving a penalty, Harvey Elliott, and Luis Diaz. They're the only 3 players that I can possibly look to, maybe not even give praise to, but at the same time, I'd feel very, very wrong given the many massive criticism tonight. Alisson, Diaz, and Fabinho, the only ones that can walk out proud, says Byron. Sophia X, sad times. Are Chelsea and Liverpool in doubt for the top 4, even top 6? I'm actually done. Thoughts on Nunez? None. He literally played a very short amount of time tonight. Please do, though. Please do smash the like button. Like I said, I'm going to bring everyone else in shortly. I just want to get through these first initial comments and give you my thoughts on the game. And I am going to dive into it very shortly. Big up everyone again who's coming from the Redmond Army. Again, this is a huge, huge debate to talk about the lack of investment for FSG. I think over the last 10 years, our net spend is 40 million, which is around about 4 million spent per summer. I can't even believe that I'm reading that out to you. I mean, it's just laughable. It's so laughable. Redmond Army, thank you very much. Big up to the Kop TV. Big up Ali A. Ali, I should say. Trent looked like he can't be asked. AGT, it's time we question Klopp starting Milner in 2022. Alex, what did you make of Milner? Surely he shouldn't be starting games. Yeah, I mean, you're right. It's not his fault, though, is it? It's definitely not his fault. Worse than us, Chelsea fan. Big up to you for joining us, of course. 4 million, yeah, on average. That's what we spend. That's what we spend. Right, let's dive into this then. First minute, they have a shot which hits the post, and that totally sets the tone for the game. Within 5 minutes, they're 1-0 up. Penalty. I mean, was it a handball? Was it ball to hand? Does ball to hand even exist anymore in football? It seems like any handball that is, appealed for, the ref goes to the screen and gives a penalty. So I think we were slightly unlucky with the first one. I think, again, if it's anywhere else on the pitch, it is a free kick. So maybe it is soft. It does, of course, hit his hand, but it's down by his body. It doesn't make maybe an unusual movement. And I think Alisson had it covered anyway. But the penalty was given. And we should have learnt from that. We were too slow and sloppy, closing shots down. Easy passes just weren't getting out to them. And Van Dijk, again, it sums up his season so far. I really hate to say it, but it sums up his season so far. I've got a Napoli fan in the chat, Giorgio, who says Forza Napoli, which pains me to say, but yeah, Forza Napoli. You absolutely battered Liverpool tonight. You deserved absolutely everything that Napoli got tonight. So well done to you, Giorgio. I mean, you have to give, as bad as we were, let's give some credit to Napoli. Not all the credit, because we were awful, but we have to give something to Napoli tonight. Apparently there's big trouble at the Tottenham ground, police involved. Hopefully everyone's being safe. Doesn't sound like it, though. Top 4, top 6, doubt, slow mode, AGT, bro. It's just one of those you want to forget as soon as possible, but we do need to talk about it because it is a big problem. It is a big problem. I mean, I'm watching the goals flying now. Trent and Van Dijk at fault massively for the fourth goal, especially. And when their striker, who was absolutely running Van Dijk ragged, by the way, the number 9, when he comes off, you're thinking, well, maybe a break. And then el puta madre, hijo de putas, Diego Simeone's son comes on, and with his first touch, he scores his first Champions League goal in his debut. And it pissed me off that Atletico won right at the end as well. 2 goals past 105 minutes. There's a red card in that one as well. So Simeone's going to be buzzing tonight, which pisses me off. Right, let's bring James and Tammy in. The less I speak from here on, the better. I'm going to ask the guys the questions. Thank you, everyone that's come over from James's amazing stream. The Redmond Army is definitely inside the building.
Get me in. Fucking hell.
Where do we start?
Let me hear you. By the way, have the Redmond Army companions came over to the live stream, yeah or nay?
They have, mate. There's loads of them in the chat. Absolutely loads of them.
Right, your job is Redmond's Army, your job is not over. You need to smash a like and you need to subscribe, because the fact that you're seeing 3 devoted Liverpool fans coming onto a show after a very fucking shocking performance like that is it's nothing more than desire and unbelievable scenes and commitment at its finest. So big up for the super chat as well, Sultan. We'll get that read out. So thank you so much to everyone. Smash those likes and all that. Do you want me to start?
No, take it over. I'll say something I regret, mate.
The way that I want to start it off is, first of all, the one thing that I've been screaming all season is about readjusting those expectations. And I feel like if we are going to try and find any positive out today, is that I was still the substitutions, I weren't scratching my eyes out at them. I was thinking, well, now we've got Thiago back in a bit more of a swing. We can bring Joe Matip on. Jota, Nunes. I think the positive is, touch wood, it surely, these could be my last words, it surely can't get any worse from here. Now, again, very well can, but from my prediction standpoint, I don't think it really will, because when you consider that it can get worse and it can get, we can't lose more football matches, but it can't get much worse than a 4-1 against Napoli. It can't get much worse than losing against Manchester United. The worst has already happened, and we have also had mega injuries. So now that these players are coming back, surely you will see more stability from the performances, more consistency from the performances going forward. So that's the positive. But the negative about today, and I was absolutely, this is where you have partly got to involve Jurgen Klopp in the blame. You have to. And chat, I'd love everyone to let me know about this as well. I've been saying this. Is it a W or an L when it comes to blaming Klopp for today? Because he started Joe Gomez, which, as you know, Alex, in the Hot Topics episode, I said specifically I would go with Joel Matip. And the second when Joel Matip came onto the football pitch, we saw that rest assured, calm composure from someone who can pass the ball, play it out from the back, and defend significantly better than Joe Gomez. And not to mention, he's also fantastic from set pieces, by the way. So Joel Matip is someone who I think for the past 12 months has probably comfortably been the best centre-back for Liverpool and should be the first name in that back line because he's been the most consistent. He's been more consistent than Robbo, he's been more consistent than Trent, and he's been more consistent than Virg. And Joe Gomez is very much someone who is very inconsistent. Ever since that Aston Villa game, he had a great game against Crystal Palace when he came on. He had a good game against Everton. Otherwise, I cannot think of many good performances as centre-back that Joe Gomez has had over the past year and a half. So that's why I always questioned him going into the game. And then not to mention another player that I need to talk about, Mohamed Salah. Oh, Mohamed Salah. At what point? At what point? Now, we're not selling Mohamed Salah. We're not letting him go. That would be ludicrous to suggest those things. The one thing that is not ludicrous to suggest is at what point do you look at a player and think, wow, he's not only not getting involved in games, but he's actually costing me results. He cost us the game against Bournemouth to break the Premier League record, which weren't bad because it never cost us 3 points and it never cost us a result or anything. But we've been cost points today because I think we were only 1-0 down or 2-0 down when he had that chance where Trent put the ball over the top and he couldn't even make a simple touchdown onto the fucking ground. For a world-class footballer who's on 300k a week, I am so sorry, guys. Call me reactionary, call me negative, call me everything you want. I expect more. And he would expect more from himself. I'm not telling him something he doesn't already know. But that's why we have got to accommodate a player by Alex. We've now got to accommodate a player who is not performing to the standards that they should be in any capacity whatsoever. And it's not good enough in the slightest. And big up to everyone who has came from the live stream. So you're just going to be hearing me repeating this. But it's true. And Alex, just dead quick, do you want to read the super chat from Sultan or do you want me to do it because I've got it up?
Yeah, go on. Big up to Sultan for getting involved in the super chat, man.
Big up. He said, haven't seen Liverpool play this crap since Villa, and even then I wasn't embarrassed. Like this, it was deflection goals, but today outclassed. That's the main thing. Outclassed, outworked, no intensity, no initiative, no agency until we needed to be. We even got ourselves in the same situation that we was in at the end of the first half, at the start of the second half when Luis Diaz scored that goal, and again, no agency, still getting overrun in the midfield, still looking like the team who was trying to hold the lead when really we never had a lead in the game. We never had a moment in the game. From minute one, from the first second, we had issues in that game. I'm playing James Milner, by the way. From
is that his
James
fault,
Milner
though?
starting. James Milner putting his hands out for the penalty like that and then getting him yellow cards in the first 12 minutes and then not performing to the standards of the football team. It's not just James Milner's fault for sure because he should not be expected to play to the standards. But Jurgen Klopp does have to be blamed for starting someone who's 37 over someone like Arthur, who in the Italian league has had a pass percentage that's been the best of any midfielder in that league over the past 2 seasons. Not to mention we played an Italian team today. Like, listen, I've been using this analogy on all my streams. I trust my nan to be able to go to a shop, get myself a bag of prawn cocktail crisp, and definitely get myself prawn cocktail crisp, but not salt and vinegar or cheese and onion. The same way that I trust James Milner to do a job every once in a while. But I do not trust my nan to pick up a telly out my room and help me carry it downstairs, because she's me fucking nan. Do James Milner, on the other hand, the same way. I would not trust James Milner to be playing week in, week out for Liverpool Football Club. And I said before on my chat, I want to see Milner gone in terms of a regular playing role in the first team. I want to see Oxlade gone because it just doesn't make sense, more than useless. And then Naby Keita the same. And then we replace those players and get them off the wage bill. And then we use Henderson kind of like the Milner role for the next 2 years or whatever. But we've got to start adapting with the times. Otherwise, maybe not performances this bad, but the consistency of the results that we're getting right now will continue. And that is 100% a fact. And that's pretty much the gist and the majority consensus of what I've got to say there. So, yeah. That's my issue.
Yeah, Tammy's here as well. Tammy, 1-0 down in 5 minutes, 2-0 down in 12 minutes, concede a penalty, save that. 3-0 down before half-time. In the second half, if you want to take any positives, it's 1-0 in the second half. This shouldn't be a positive to take, but it was 1-0. I mean, when you saw that third one going in at half-time, bear in mind, we probably should have been 6-0 down at half-time. I don't think I've ever said that in my life as a Liverpool fan. They missed the penalty, they hit the post, they had chances to score, and we generally should have been 6-0 down. So what happened? Where did it go wrong? And where do we go from here?
It went wrong from the moment the first whistle went. Honestly, we were just not there at all. We've got outplayed completely today. I mean, you guys know me. I like to find the positive in a game, at least find something. But today, I can't think of any positives from that game. It was horrendous from start to finish. Okay, yes, second half we were a bit better, only conceding technically one, if you like, in the second half, and scoring one, obviously being that 1-1 second half. But it just still wasn't good enough. We didn't turn up. Players were stationary for most of the game. I'd love to know some of the running stats for that game because it must be dreadful. Just everything. Trent was awful. Gomez was awful, but it was so bad. So bad.
That right-hand side of ours, they obviously targeted that so much. I mean, the defending, if I can even call it that, for the second goal, Joe Gomez, I mean, that was the easiest goal I've ever seen Liverpool concede. And he obviously got taken off at half-time. What do you think of his performance? Because if we're really honest...
he was terrible. Let's not beat around the bush. He was absolutely... He was terrible. He was terrible. Honestly, Joe Gomez has put up some of the best centre-back performances that I've seen in recent time for Liverpool Football Club. And I like Joe Gomez, and I like him for what he is. He's a very, very useful squad option, and he's probably someone that, realistically, we shouldn't have signed him on a new contract. And if we did, it should have been a lot more of a short-term contract, because he should have been the player that we bought for 3.5 million from Charlton, played for a couple of seasons, won a Premier League. He exceeds expectations, gets an immense value, and then we sell him for great, great money. And then use your best players, which is Joel Matip. That's the way we should have utilised Joe Gomez, but it seems that we're going with the approach of having him in the team week in, week out for the next couple of seasons. That will not work when Konaté is better than him. Nat Phillips is better than him. There's other players in this squad who, honestly, I see put in, or I feel safer within that backline than Joe Gomez. Now, when Joe Gomez steps out against Everton and has an immense performance, great. But you're playing against Anthony Gordon, you're playing against fucking, who else, Maupai. Like, it weren't that challenging. The second that he had any form of test in this game today, the second is when you saw the problems. Now, that is the problem I've got with Joe Gomez starting. It's not to hate on him. I'm sure he has a big, valuable part of the squad. But if I'm the manager, he's not in my starting 11. And honestly, the closest he gets to my starting 11 is right back, and I move Trent into midfield.
We could say the exact same about Milner, though. Why on earth are we starting Milner? Why? In this game, when we've got Thiago fit, okay, yes, he's had an injury, but why are we starting Milner? We've got
Arthur as well was available.
Yeah, Arthur was available as well. Why are we starting Milner? He should not be a player that we're relying on week in, week out to be providing Premier League and Champions League wins for us, because that's not the type of player he is. He's the type of player that will fill in every now and then when there's an injury, or come on if we're 2-3-0 up in a game and we just need someone to chill the game, take the game defensively, and like go, okay, right, Milner, you come on, finish the game, and that'll be it for the game. He's not a player we should be starting week in, week out. Absolutely not.
Big up to Saf, you never walk alone, Islam with the £5 super chat. Remember, guys, this definitely gets your comments read out. This is a record of live numbers that we've had on the Kop TV ever. So we appreciate your support.
How many people's on the stream?
507 right now, live viewers.
Big up,
which is,
smash those likes
trust
and
me,
subscribe
that's
as well,
big.
mate. Thank you for
Don't
tuning in,
forget
people.
that subscribe button.
Thank you.
Even
Thank
though they're all
you.
coming here to laugh at us. It's actually bittersweet, this, innit?
maybe.
They're all coming
Yeah,
here
it's
to
really
just take the
bittersweet.
piss out of us. Take the piss. Give me the best you've got. Kill me while I'm fucking down, will you? Give me the fucking best you've got. Oh, I've had worse. Oh, I've had Jay Spearing. I've had Konchesky. Oh, I've had some really mediocre football. If you think this is bad, oh, I've had Mario Balotelli. Oh, if you think
Trust
this
me.
is bad.
James is in crisis over there.
I'm
Saf
just trying to
says,
make people
Klopp
smile, mate. I am. I'm just trying to make people happy through these dire times and through these
doing a
fucking
good job, bro.
depressing times as well.
doing a good job. Klopp did say if these players are not committed, he would walk. What are your thoughts? Do you think that may happen?
No,
No,
let's not get high on crack cocaine. Jurgen Klopp is very, very sound in the position that he's in. He is very sound with bringing us back to the best. He's not just going to leave a group of players that are like his sons in a fucking pile of shit that we're in right now. We will fix this. We will get better. It might not be to the 90-point seasons in the short term. I'm not saying that. But we will get better. We will get back into the top 4 conversations. I'm sure of it. If we can keep these injuries avoided and if we can get these new signings, and even then we're still banking on a lot, I still believe we go into Saturday with full support of these players, make the noise the loudest you can fucking make it, and let's make Liverpool special for completely different reasons this year. Because we don't have excuses to be shit. We have the odd injury, but we don't have any main excuses. So now going forward, let's up the urgency as a fan base to be like, right, we've got so used to this team playing fucking great football. But now they need our back. That's what we need to do. We can come on this show all we want and be as constructive as we can be. But if them football players go on the football pitch and prove us wrong, that is all that I can ask for ever as a football fan and Liverpool fan. When you wear the Liver Beard, I can only expect 100% effort. Because it's what I would do if I was wearing the Liver Beard. If I wear that Liverpool shirt, whether I'm good or bad at football, I want everything. And it's the one thing that I can appreciate about someone like James Milner. Not good enough, but he puts in everything. It's the one thing I can appreciate, but that's why the manager's got to make better decisions, and these players have got to make better decisions, because it's like, if Salah doesn't... So when Salah missed that chance today, right, when Salah misses that chance, automatically the momentum shifts back into Napoli's favour. We could have made it 2-1, which could have shifted it in our favour, and even though we still probably wouldn't have won, that moment right there cost the team and made their edge drop, and that's the main thing to talk about. The players' heads are just dropping constantly at the moment. And that needs to improve. It does need to improve. Alex, you wanted to read out a super chat, didn't you?
Yeah, this kind of sums it up. Glass half full or half empty? Let us know in the comments. Another super chat from Bircho12. Big up to you, my friend. Arta, Matip, Thiago, Nunes, Costa all should have started. Get early goals, then bring them off. Klopp being stubborn again. I actually agree with that. I'd say all of those players had a very good chance of starting tonight. I would. And there has to be some blame with the manager for sticking with a team that isn't obviously playing well. But
would you blame the manager, Alex?
I think he has to take a percentage of the blame. But my, if you were to break it up in percentages, it would be 75% the players, because Klopp has to take some. But at the same time, the players, and I'm going to name, and I don't normally do this, to be honest with you, but I'm going to start naming some names of players who need a big wake up call. And I might have mentioned them earlier, and it's Trent, Van Dijk and Salah. I mean, the fact that Trent didn't run, I mean, even Martin Keown, for goodness sake, he was hardly a Maldini himself. Even he's spotting Van Dijk not running to the ball, which is totally unacceptable, considering that 2 years ago, we were literally considered as the team that presses, that is energetic, that forces teams into mistake, early doors, kill the game off. And we've just lost all of our identity. We've literally lost everything that we stand for and we're proud of. We've lost it all. But I have to say, Van Dijk, Salah and Trent, I'm saying, and it sounds crazy, but I think we dropped them all on Saturday. I think we dropped them all. I'd rather see, if we can get, I know Konate is a little bit off it, but I mean, I wouldn't play Gomez, so I guess you have to play Van Dijk. But he can't just expect that every single week he can do performances like that. Like, we need Van Dijk to step up.
Van Dijk cost us another goal today as well.
Of course he did. Of course he did. Van Dijk cost us a goal. Gomez cost us a goal easily, maybe even 2. And Salah hasn't. I think it's 6 goals in 38 games now since AFCON in all comps, and then not even including penalties. That is because if Bobby had that record, we'd be
embarrassing
all
is
over
what
Bobby.
it is. Salah will be embarrassed about that record. I am not talking about my opinion of if it's embarrassing. Mo Salah will be fucking humiliated by that statistic because it is embarrassing for someone who's been arguably the best player in the league for seasons. It is ludicrous to think that he's going to be happy with the performances that he's been putting in. It's been abysmal. Abysmal. And the last thing I'll say, because I do have to shoot off in a second, and I do just want to say thank you for everyone tuning in and stuff like that. We have to, going forward, it is just a case of making the most out of what we've got, supporting the team the way we can. And Alex, I agree. I think we've got to make some really, really big changes going forward. Get Matip back in the squad, get Thiago back in the team, get the players who have not been a part of these shithead performances. Keep Harvey going, keep him strong, keep Fabio strong as well. Keep the people who've been coming off the bench and doing that job. Bring off Salah as a threat off the bench. And if he starts scoring a few goals off the bench, then he won't have to come off the bench and he can start playing some football matches for Liverpool. But right now, from what we're seeing, he is costing us more than what he's adding to us. So that's my conclusion there, and that's the last thing that I want to say. Shame for the results, but I'm looking forward to seeing you Saturday, the firm.
Yes, brother. Thanks for coming on. Really appreciate it, especially after such a horrible, horrible result. We're watching Klopp speak to the press now. It's a lot of sarcastic smiling and stuff like that. He's obviously not happy. He's cringing at this performance, and the players will be hurting. There's no doubt about that. But Jay, thanks for coming on, bro. Appreciate it.
Big up to everyone in the chat, mate. Thank you for tuning in. Hopefully you're smashing the likes and commenting as well. And yeah, mate, loads more good content from the Kop TV. Tammy, you have a good one. All right, girl.
See you later, James, lad.
Hasta la vista, kid. Peace out.
Oh, Tammy, where do we go from here, man? It is
I want to say,
masterful.
Anyone who is at this Wolves game on Saturday, if you are not singing, being loud, singing every single song, up on your feet, cheering that team on, don't go. The team need us right now. We need this 12th man that we are so famous for in Anfield. I'm so bored of away fans at the moment saying it's like a library at Anfield, because it's quiet sometimes at Anfield at the moment and it's not fun. Get singing, get behind the team, show them that we want the performances to change, because these performances are unacceptable from a Liverpool squad. We need them to change, and we need to get behind them by singing, chanting, getting everyone behind that ball, because if we're not behind them, they're not going to play for us. And they're losing their heads and dropping their heads in the game. As soon as we're conceding, that's heads down, and we're not getting behind them. We need to get behind that team and get that ball into that goal of the Kop and be scoring, because honestly, it's not acceptable what we're seeing at the moment. It is not, and we need to get behind the team.
Comments like this I don't agree with necessarily, because look, we're not actually knocked out of any of these competitions, and as I said earlier, if you want, not that you want, but if you are going to lose a game in the Champions League, make it your first one, being that
there's a long way to go.
Away game. Yeah, of course, there is a long way to go, and it's going to be a tough season. This is going to be a long, hard season. I can feel it already.
But 60-odd games last season, and we've only played 5, 6, 7 so far this one. So just perspective.
Yeah, and you know the FA Cup's still there. We're still the holders. We don't start the League Cup till November. I think just before the World Cup. The Premier League, the priority in that is just to finish as high as possible now. I'm not going to get drawn into is the league title finished. Let's just finish as high as possible. Whatever that means, it means. And then the Champions League, luckily, there's still 5 games left to turn this around. And we know that if there is one team that can do that, it's Liverpool. Rangers lose 0 to Ajax. So we have to win the next game against Ajax on Tuesday night. They're going to be absolutely buzzing, by the way. And then obviously we go to Ajax and we go to Rangers. They come to us. And if we play like that, we genuinely will end up in the Europa League. And I know a lot of United fans are in the chat right now, probably wanting to see us cry, making Europa League jokes. But if we do play like that, and I'm not saying for 1 minute we will, because as James said, Thiago, Jota, Arta, all these players are starting to come back. And if I'm really honest, the second half was an improvement. They probably should have still scored more. But the second half was an improvement from the first half. But that was because you literally could have done anything and it would have been better than that first half performance. But So I am confident it will change. But at the same time, if it doesn't and we do play like this, I mean, we could even end up in the Conference League. I mean, it can happen. You can go from Champions League to Conference League. I think that's what happened to Barca last year.
Yeah,
HM Alta with another super chat. Thank you so much for that. I disagree. It's 70% on Klopp. High line is a black hole. We saw the high line tonight, Tammy. It worked, a couple of offside calls, but and actually we thought it was working because the two mistakes that Gomez made that led to the penalty in the goal, it looked like he'd actually done well and got his body in front, but then we were just bodied, muscled off the ball.
yeah.
And yes, the crowd force you into making mistakes. They're whistling the whole time. They're getting up for it. They're loud as anything, those Napoli fans, and they were loving it. And it was almost as if Liverpool didn't even have a chance as soon as they found their voice and they started knocking the ball around. I knew it was going to be a long night. The start was awful. But the high line, listen, it is what it is. I don't think it's going to change now. I can't see us reverting back to a low block. I mean, with all due respect to Napoli, we are Liverpool Football Club, and I don't think Klopp changes the high line, so that will still stay. But when we're getting outpaced with running back to our own goal, that's what I really, really can't excuse that. And what Tammy said about the running, this running thing is really, really starting to fuck me off because, again, it's the one thing that we were known for. Which was we work harder than teams, we outpress them, we outwork them, we outskill them because we've got those players. We can do the dirty work, but we've got the players to break down those lines as well. But when we're not even sprinting, and I'm seeing Trent and Van Dijk jogging, I mean, it's farcical.
It's even walking. They're not even jogging sometimes. It's walking back as well. Like, why are we walking on the pitch when, if you look at last season, obviously last season we hit different levels that we probably will never see again. But when we're walking back like that and not even trying to defend or go forward, it's disgraceful from Liverpool. We can't keep this up. We need someone to be making those runs in behind, making those runs forward, tracking back as well, getting that defensive line going. It was just shambles from beginning to end today. Absolutely awful. I'm running out of negatives for it. I'm running out of words because it was that bad.
Yeah. Alguapo says Salah can't score to save his life. Man got that 350k and is laughing. Klopp needs to look hard at himself and his FSG twerking and defending. I mean, I don't know if you heard the stat I read out earlier. We've spent net in the last 10 years 44 mil, which is 4.4 million per summer. I mean, that is not even what Everton spend. That's not, I mean, it's a fraction of what Everton spend. Nottingham Forest, Aston Villa, Chelsea, Arsenal, Manchester United, Man City. We're not spending money. So how on earth do we expect to be competing for the... And that's the thing. We were competing for everything on every single front in May. And now we're in September and the whole world's just tipped upside down for us. I can't believe that I'm watching the same team. Yes, there are injuries, but again, the spine, and I can't include Alisson in this, saved a penalty tonight, made a really good save that he dropped and fumbled that they scored. Zielinski scored his second goal. Their number 77, by the way, unreal. I can't remember his name for the life of me. Someone's going to have to remind me in the comments because it's a difficult name to pronounce. If someone can just let me know his name in the comments. He got taken off after an hour, which I think was maybe the best thing that could have happened to us. But
it's so frustrating. In the space of 4 months, we've gone from being the best club in the world to being questionable week in, week out. Like, how does this happen to a Liverpool side where you've got players of the likes of Salah, of Diaz, of Nunes, Henderson in midfield, Thiago? What happens to a squad in that period of time where, okay, yes, we've had a little break, but it was still a break. Yes, you've played so many games last season, but we've got players to be going forward for these games and we're not even trying. That's what hurts as a Liverpool fan at the moment, is the fact that you can see in the players' eyes when they're playing on that field, they're not trying. There's no effort going into these games. And I really worry for Wolves at the weekend. I am terrified for that game because Wolves are such a strong squad that danger could happen that day. Saturday.
What about this comment? Glenn, do you think if Wolves beat us, Klopp is under pressure?
Well, he's under pressure already. He's under pressure already. He won't. I don't think he's going to get sacked. But if you look at what Chelsea have just done to Tuchel, you can't really say that anyone's safe.
Mm.
So Klopp is under massive pressure no matter what. I think he needs to go back to the drawing board, change this 4-3-3 because it's not working. We've bought different players in now that we need to adapt our style of play, adapt our formations, and see how it goes and try different things. And let's do it this season while we're already down. Let's try different things, see what works, keep it going for the rest of the season on something that works. Start early doing that rather than leave it till midway through the season and go, oh, okay, we're going to try something different now and it costs us more games. I'd rather we try something different now and just go for it because I think we're on our last strings now as to what we can do, and I feel like whatever we do now has to change the season.
Yeah, Kravat Krashila was unreal. Absolutely smoked Joe Gomez, Van Dijk. I mean, I was debating whether the second one was a penalty, but I think it is. It's clumsy from Van Dijk. He's too slow to get to the ball.
Yeah.
So bad. So bad.
It was just disappointing.
So bad, man.
I've been
And
saying
he literally
defensively for
he's
weeks
playing
we've
like
not
he's
been
got
great.
jeans and Timberlands on. Oh, mate, honestly. Agree with me that we should never fire Klopp. I mean, I want to agree with that, but, you know, if he loses 50 games in a row, then obviously he's got to go. So I'm watching the
He'll be gone
highlights
by
of
the
the
time
game
it
now. The
happens.
first goal, Tammy, the ball is so easily over the top. Ishaney comes and hits the post. That's a big wake-up call. That's in the first minute, by the way. Liverpool players asking for offside. Doesn't come. Gets around Alisson like a piece of cake. And it's actually a good strike. He was unlucky not to score. I think maybe Trent would have had it on the line. The second goal, again, such a high line. Van Dijk jogging back, giving you that live reaction now. Gomez, no one going out to block, and it's a Milner handball. It's a penalty, and it's 1-0. Zielinski could have had a hat-trick tonight. I don't know why he didn't take that second penalty after he scored the first one. I really don't understand that. Could have easily had a hat-trick tonight. Milner's got his arm like this. I'm taking it back. It is a handball, and it is a yellow card. Milner lucky not to get sent off if we look at it that way.
Yeah.
It's a good penalty, and it's 1-0. I mean, when I first saw it, I thought that his arms were more to his body, but he's literally got his arm out like that, which for someone of his age to do is totally unacceptable. And I think Milner will be so frustrated with himself tonight. The second goal, Van Dijk gets out-strengthed, cut inside, and it is a penalty. It is a penalty. I mean, what can I say? That is a penalty. That's 2 penalties that they should have got given, and they were given. So the ref going to the screen, the fans making it difficult for us. We deserved it. So the second penalty happens, and again, we're just reacting to the highlights. It's the first time I've seen them since they happened in the game, so we might as well go through them all. The number 9 who went on, and it's an awful penalty. It's a bit like my penalty at that charity game, if I'm honest. Straight down the middle, shite. And again, they could have scored the rebound for that goal. Big up to HM Alta with the super chat. Thank you. It's Klopp, guys. He's changed the system. He's literally put Salah in a playmaking role. Salah attempts and our pressing stats decrease massively. Time for a think. Time to a change. Looking at the third goal now, Politano through. Gomez gets it easy. But then no, Eshimi gets the ball, plays it to Zielinski, and it's off the line from Van Dijk. It's incredible defending. That's the one good thing Van Dijk did tonight. And again, that's the 6th or 7th goal in this first half that we're talking about. They went in at halftime with 3. That should have been a goal. And they've obviously missed a penalty. So that's 5. Gomez allowing the ball to come so far back. Oh, this is painful to watch. This is painful to watch.
I can't rewatch the highlights.
Gomez got spun so differently. He's getting spun, man. And look at this pass. An easy pass out to Zielinski, gives it back, and that is just such a simple goal for the second one. It's painful.
It's so depressing. There's no words for today.
There's the second goal that flies in. And then the third goal, I mean, Simeone, again, I hate Cholo Simeone, Diego, 77, absolutely twines Gomez again for the third time in the night. It's 3-0 and Simeone scores with his first touch of the Champions League, let alone game. That's his first touch that was his Champions League debut. That was his first touch ever in the competition, and he scores to make it 3-0 against Liverpool. The fourth goal, straight over the top again. Van Dijk jogging. Trent jogging. Van Dijk still jogging, and it's 4-0. Pathetic from Van Dijk. And you know what? After all the years of service that we've had from him, I never thought I'd be that person to criticize him. But he stands still. He's not even on the move, about to prepare himself to go. He's standing still when that ball comes over the top. Great save from Alisson. And you can't blame Alisson for that. Zielinski chips it over him. Our goal, again, slightly better in the second half. Robertson with the press. Diaz with his famous cut inside. And it's a really clever finish. And maybe if it wasn't such a quick goal for them in the second half, we could have maybe come back at 3-0. Diaz gets that one. It could have been 3-1. And who knows what could have happened. But the game was finished in the first 20 minutes. There's no doubt about that.
Easily.
The game was over in the first 20 minutes. Trent with a cross. Diaz again with a glide, a flying, diving header. I mean, again, the only player that can come away with any form of pride tonight is Luchito Diaz. And then it's full time. And it's full with Nunez, with Thiago and Arthur on the pitch. And Guisa, one of their best players tonight, number 99, Klopp. Embracing the manager at full time there. And it's 4-1. I just don't know what to say. Salah's form is so worrying. Of course it is. Van Dijk, not good enough. Guys, is Van Dijk afraid of getting injured with the World Cup coming up? Looking like he sometimes... Jesus Christ, you hear that?
What was that?
God. Thunder.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, man.
That was loud, that. Jesus.
When it rains, it pours.
Perfectly fitting.
Wow, that was crazy close. I feel like that was literally outside the window, man. Big up to Gangan Deep with the very, very generous super chat, £20, and he's very angry. Where the F was the tactical in-game adjustments. If you're not going to pressure the ball, what's the point of a high line? Should have switched to a 4-2-4 or a 4-2-3-1, double pivot to protect the back four and counter-attack. Fuming, yeah. 100% agree with you. 100% agree with you. Yes, there literally just was an earthquake. It is literally bloody shocking. And that is some loud thunder. I can't believe I've just heard that. But thank you so much for that amazing super chat, Gangan Deep. Let's break it down. I agree. The tactical awareness had to change at some point in that game, and it didn't. You have to be able to have the ability to have these in-game changes, and we just didn't do that tonight. If you're not going to pressure the ball, what's the point in a high line? Totally true. Gangan Deep, you've hit the nail on the head tonight, my friend. Should have switched to a different formation. I think when you bring on Nunez, when you bring on Jota, of course, the formation naturally does shift a little bit, but I can't see a performance like that again in the first half. I literally can never. I think I would say that's the worst Champions League away performance I've seen in my life as a Liverpool fan. Would you agree?
Yeah, I'd agree.
Worst in my life.
Shocking.
I mean, they said in the game the biggest defeats we've had in Europe was 3-0 to Real Madrid, 3-0 to Barca. Obviously, the 3-0 to Barca is irrelevant because we beat them 4-0 in the second leg. But that is the worst Champions League performance I've seen from Liverpool in my life, and I'm 28 years old.
You think back to the Barca game, though, we at least tried in that game.
Oh, we were the scoreline definitely didn't reflect that game. We could have come away, with a good 3-2, 3-1 there. But today confirms it for me. And again, let me know in the comments if you agree with myself and Tammy. Do you think that it was the worst Champions League performance you've seen whilst watching Liverpool? Let us know. Diaz is the only player that can hold his head high, works his bollocks off. Absolutely true from Glenn. Worst I've seen since we got spanked to Madrid Stevie's last year, in 2014-15. It was proper shies. Please subscribe to everyone that's been involved tonight. Obviously, the Kop TV, Tammy herself, and James. Hit the like, says Esther. Yes, definitely, says Dylan. This is the worst performance he's seen Liverpool ever produce, and I think the home performances that we've lost in our lifetime, they haven't necessarily been big losses or disgraceful performances. I think back to the Atleti game, the Inter Milan game last season. They weren't disgraceful performances. Tonight was, especially in that second half. Big up to Taylor Made, who's saying he had me down as 33. No, I have been working in this industry for 10 years though, mate. So this is what it can do
Long
to you
time.
sometimes. People think you're older. Trust me. Quality the refs know how to ref. Cheers, mate. What do you make of this one? Mello came on, had a few touches, Tammy. Looked okay. It was kind of his pace, if we're honest. He hasn't played much, but his Italian league experience is kind of his pace. He's going to get a rude awakening on Saturday if he thinks it's going to be that slow, especially in the second half. They were knocking it around like a training drill in the second half, just keeping that ball. So, I mean, where do we go from here? Who starts on Saturday for you, Tammy?
I think Tsimikas has to come in for Robertson. I think that's a guarantee. That one has to happen. If Tsimikas is fit and ready to go, get him in. We don't have really much choice apart from Van Dijk. And then Matip, start them two. Trent, because we don't have anyone to replace Trent at the moment. Midfield, obviously have to keep Harvey Elliott in. Start Thiago and Fabinho. And then the same front three that we played today.
So you'd play Bobby, you'd start Bobby, would you?
Yeah,
would start
Bobby.
Jota, Nunez? I'd actually
I
give
think with the way Bobby's playing at the moment, Bobby's more of a secure choice. I think he's had quite a few goals in him the last few games. I think this Premier League game against Wolves will suit him better than it would a Nunez or a Jota. So I'd rather have Jota and Nunez come off the bench for Bobby if Bobby's having a bad day. I wouldn't want to start either of them two just because of the risk of it. But knowing Klopp, he'll probably start Nunez.
I'm just watching these Tottenham Marseille highlights as well. Apparently there's been trouble outside the ground. So who knows? But I'm just seeing their red card there. Tottenham obviously won their first game. And that snake Richarlison scored 2 goals, which isn't great at all, is it? Especially as a Liverpool fan reading that. Oh, man.
It's so depressing. So depressing.
That is awful. So bad. Trent has been a liability so far, says Clement. We need a player who can challenge him. Well, listen, Calvin Ramsey's been injured since he's joined Liverpool.
Since the beginning of the season.
Nice. Yeah, it'd be nice for him to challenge Trent because it's about time someone did.
He's on his way back, isn't he, Ramsey? When's he due back from injury?
He's back in training.
Back in training.
So I'd love to see him. And I think I can already tell the type of player that we're going to get from him. It's going to be a bit more of a skillful version of a Robbo because he is Scottish. He's got that fight in him, that determination. But I think if we see what I think we're going to see with Ramsey, we've got a very, very, very good player there. Really good player. But again, we need him to be fit so he can challenge Trent because Trent, do you think the injury to Ramsey has affected Trent's performances? The fact that he knows that no one's there challenging him and he can be a little bit complacent.
Yeah, probably, but he's had that last season as well. He didn't really have anyone competing for his spot last season. It's not like last season he knew he was going to be playing every Premier League and every.
Well, we had Nico Williams, briefly last season that challenged him.
Yeah, but it was one of those that Nico Williams was never really going to be anything more than a Carabao and FA Cup kind of player. So I think Trent's has had security for a very long time now, and I'm really hoping that Ramsey can come in and change that and challenge him for that position to push Trent harder because the performances we've seen from Trent so far this season have been abysmal. They've been absolutely awful. So if he now gets that challenge from Ramsey, and hopefully Ramsey comes in, I hope we get the best out of Ramsey, but we need Trent to sort his acts out because he is just not there right now, and I'm hoping Ramsey coming in will change that.
Yeah, hope so. I think Tsimikas has to start the next game. Matip obviously has to start. The midfield can't include James Milner with all due respect to him. It has to be Thiago, Fabinho, and maybe Mello, who might be ready. and then you have to go with Diaz because he's easily our best player at the minute. Is there a side of you that maybe thinks, well, and again, this is fairly rogue, but do we drop Salah on Saturday, Tammy? And if so, who do we drop him for, and what formation can we move it around? Because I think personally, if we go for a 2 pivot, which would be Thiago Fabinho, you could have maybe a Bobby at number 10 with a Nunes up front with Diaz and not play Salah.
It could work.
It's just I know Salah is the king. I'm seeing people in the comments saying he is the king. He is the king. We know that.
Yeah.
But not
It
everyone
could
is
work.
indispensable. Not everyone is indispensable. And I think there has to be some stage where you do start questioning the level of performances from the biggest players. Why not? So is there a way that he could be dropped on Saturday?
I think, if you play that 4-2-3-1, then you could drop Salah. But I don't think with Salah's experience that he's got, Klopp is very much a manager who will pick the same sort of players all the time. So I think Salah will end up staying in, and I would prefer Salah to stay in rather than risk it on someone else. With Wolves being the type of squad they are going to attack us like no man's business. So yes, Salah could be dropped, but I think it's unlikely.
Diaz goals are lone lion moves. We need tactical attacking team play. Can't blame Diaz. He was the only one trying tonight, to be honest. There was no fault to Diaz at all. He was the one that almost scored 2 goals tonight. And it's often that this season, how many times this season have we said at the end of a game when we've not won it, the only 2 players that can walk away with their heads held high is Harvey Elliott and Luis Diaz? How many times have we said that? I'm getting sick of it.
Every single game this season.
Diaz is awesome, says Double D. Salah an easy scapegoat, says William. During AFCON, we won every game with Jota up front and played wonderfully so. Salah needs to be dropped and needs time to focus on his mental state and get those yips under control. Don't know what yips means, to be honest. So, guys, do you think there is trouble within the squad? No, I don't think that there is, because these lads have been through it. So they know how to get themselves out of this situation. That's the key thing. It's not as if we've got a bunch of 17-year-olds who've never really had much experience at all. It's more, well, actually, the players that we have got have been at the top before. They've fallen slightly, so they can get us back to the top. There's no doubt about that. But we've got to dig deep, and we have to find a massive result on Saturday to lift the mood going into that Ajax game on Tuesday, because we don't want to lose 2. If we lose 2 of the Champions League openers, then it's not even a question. We'd have to win the rest of them. And that would include going to Rangers away and winning, going to Ajax away and winning, and beating Napoli at Anfield, which if we play like we did tonight, it's just never going to happen. So Liverpool fans in the comments, let us know how you feel. I know so many of you are. And again, I can't read out every single comment. There has been a record amount of viewers and comments tonight. So thank you so much for that. Really appreciated it. We're going to go through 5 more and then call it a night. James Milner makes problems. I mean, is it necessarily his fault that he's starting? Of course it isn't. But yeah, it's fairly wasteful tonight. Should have maybe got sent off with the handball and the yellow that he actually got. So he just can't start the next game. He just can't start the next game. Against the midfield, that is going to be Mateus Nunes, who we should have bloody bought ourselves, Neves and Moutinho. And let's not forget, Wolves opened us up in the first 10 minutes when they came to Anfield on the last day of the season. So if we play like that against Wolves, it's game over. We've lost the game. Let's get through a couple more. Klopp will be sacked. No.
Not yet.
No. I am very tired, old chap, says Dwayne. It's been a long day, mate, and a long night. We need to switch up the formation. That customary 4-3-3 is now predictable. Do you think Klopp does... I think it's a bit of a loaded question, but do you think that if Klopp does change formation, which he's very, very rarely done at Anfield in 11, do you think that he would admit that it's time to change it, or do you think he would be forced to?
I think he'd be forced to admit. Like, there's no way he's gonna... I can't see Klopp changing the formation as it is. But I think the only way Klopp will change it is if the fans make it really, really clear, as we've done before. I think that's the only way it'll be changed. Like we had with the midfielder situation during the transfer window, it was all the fans saying we need a midfielder, we need a midfielder, and then it wasn't until the very end of the transfer window when Klopp suddenly went, "Oh well, we need a midfielder," and it's like, well, it's too little, too late now, and bring in Arthur on loan. So, yeah, it's a tough one, really.
I'm watching Barcelona, by the way. They look very good. Lewandowski scored a brilliant hat-trick tonight. And they won 4-1 themselves. These are all teams that we've really got to be fearful of because, again, if we play like this against the guys, 5-1 in the end. Ferran Torres scored. So there you go. Liverpool not looking good at all. Let's go with 2 more comments. We do have a great team and we play proper football still. Opponents study you. Remember that. In Klopp we trust. I know we'll turn it around. That's what we need to end this stream with because we know, again, that it's possible for Klopp to do that. But it's got to happen soon and it's got to happen with real energy and belief that we can turn this around now. Like I said, if you're going to lose your Champions League, if you're going to lose one, lose the first one. And it's away as well. We're still in the Premier League just about, if you can say that. And of course, we're still reigning champions of the League Cup and FA Cup. So it's not all doom and gloom. But tonight, especially for that first 45 minutes, it certainly felt that way. I mean, every time they got the ball, it looks like they were going to score. And if we think we can play like that against Wolves, and bear in mind, Wolves will have watched that game tonight. Wolves will have watched that and thought, this is how we attack Liverpool. We press them. We force them into mistakes. We isolate the weaker centre-back in Gomez, if you want to call it that. And we do our best to quiet and dampen that crowd early doors. And I think if they score that first goal on Saturday, mate, honestly, I can't imagine what's going to happen. I really can't.
That's what I was saying about earlier about getting behind the team, though. If they score first, we need to really be singing out loud at Anfield on Saturday.
Yeah, for sure, man. So there it is. Tammy, thank you so much for coming on. Really appreciate it, as always. You know this. And I guess I'll see you on Saturday, yeah?
See you on Saturday.
Take care, Tammy. Well, there you go. Tammy, James Redmond, they've all been on giving their thoughts of that awful Champions League opener for Liverpool tonight. It really was a howler, especially those first 45 minutes. The second 45 minutes, slightly better, but still nowhere near it. We need Konate to come back ASAP to partner maybe Matip. Who knows? I'm just watching Porto score a penalty in the 106th minute after a red card for Taremi, their number 9. And then Atleti get a winner in the 110th minute, and Griezmann scores it. It's unbelievable scenes, that. Simeone running down the touchline like a little sausage that he is. And his son's a sausage as well. I'm just gutted. I'm so gutted. So gutted with that one. But there you go. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. It's been a pleasure to talk to you, even though it was a big loss tonight. So there you go. Don't forget, go ahead and watch Hot Clicks. Some really good, interesting topics on there that are still massively relevant, including Salah and his level of performance. Tomorrow we'll be back around 4:30 with a preview on the Wolves game with Dave from Talking Wolves. And then on Saturday, of course, we'll be at the game. And then on Sunday, I believe we're doing a preview with an Ajax fan channel because we are playing them Tuesday night. And then, of course, Tuesday we're at Anfield again with the fan cam. So, guys, much love. Try and get some sleep tonight. I know it's been awful, but what can you do? You still got to support the Reds. And we go again on Saturday. Take care.
Thanks for watching the video, guys. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe to the Kop TV, the voice of football's most famous stands, for a lot more Liverpool content.
Remember to check out our Shopify store for this beauty and much more. It's the new Luchito's Way Diaz t-shirt based on Luis Diaz and Carlito's Way. It's out now, designed by Ruby.
And there's going to be so many more.
There is. Make sure you're involved. Go and buy this now and use the Kop TV 15 for a little discount if you want.